Welcome to the Laurent Collective podcast, where we go deeper than just surface talk.
Each week, we'll explore everything from family, business, creativity, culture, and faith.
To make sure not to miss an episode, be sure to subscribe and hop on to Instagram at Laurent Collective to chat with us about this episode. Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We are here, you are here, and we're happy to be with you.
Yeah.
Why did you give me that weird face when I said that?
I just always think it's funny that we say welcome back. Like, I don't know. It's just funny.
You might be new for the first time, so hello if you
hello.
are.
Yeah.
Welcome to...
We are excited that you're here listening.
We are, yes. Today's topic, we're just jumping right in. We always jump right in. I think I appreciate that when I listen to podcasts, when people kind of jump right into the topic. But the big question we are asking, and we do not have an answer, so let me just say that.
This is like real-time processing.
Real-time processing, thinking through this. But I have a feeling some of the rest of you might be thinking this too. So the question is, are we going to quit social media for our business? Oh, I just dropped that bomb in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think we've individually been processing this for a little bit, because I don't know. Like, we had this really great conversation. We took a walk the other day, and we were sitting on the river, and I think it was just like, I don't know. We just started talking about kind of where we were when we started our businesses, you know, and how key social media was, and kind of how it grew and like all that kind of stuff. And now we've gotten to a point where like it's hard to just keep up with social media. Like, everything changes constantly. You know, it first was just, you know, creating an image and putting it up there and for people to like interact with was enough. Now it's like you have to do videos and you have to do stories and you have to do all this thing. Like, there's so much stuff that goes into it now to like keep up and all that kind of stuff. And to me, that's like just exhausting. Like, I get really tired. And I think we've both been processing how, in some ways, like, social media is just, for at least for our business, it's just felt really exhausting to keep up and to really look at it and go, does it really equate to the thing that we thought it was for our business, if that makes any sense? So.
And I guess I should say, if you're listening, well, this we're going to be talking about business mainly. Yeah. But I'm also processing what it looks like for us personally. Yeah. But definitely in business, I think right when we hit a certain point back when social media was young, in particular Instagram, where we grew pretty quickly, and at that time the numbers that we had were like considered a high following. I don't think we have a high following whatsoever, but at that time it felt like that. And then gradually we've, number one, either seen the numbers go down or people don't interact anymore, which that's actually more important. Or we don't even
know if people are seeing it.
We don't know if people are seeing it. Fluke things happen where, like, you know, over Easter, somebody with like almost 1 million followers shared one of our images. Great and wonderful. We gained like, I don't know, 70 to 100 followers in one day. But then almost all of those, I don't know if the same people, but I haven't looked at our numbers, but like, you know, almost 50 to 60 people have dropped off since then. I mean, and that was only, you know, Easter time. Now, I don't know if they're the same people or not, but like they followed us and they stopped following us maybe, or was other people. I mean, it's just...
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Like and here is the thing. Yeah. And I think we have said this before, but when you're trying to figure out what to focus your time on in your business, you need to understand where are the people coming from. So, like, in order to run a business, I'm going to say you need some kind of people to purchase things, no matter what you're doing.
You need an audience.
If you are, you know, we sell both products and we sell digital stuff like course and things like that, and we teach. And so with both of those things, we need people, right? We need people to see things. We need people to be interested and that kind of thing. And we want to create community with those people, which is why we do things like the podcast.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah, that's the
and stuff like that. And so For us, again, now I say back in the day, we've been in business for 15, 16 years. And so at one point, the huge driver for our business was social media. Like that is where stuff came from, where our sales came from and that kind of thing. And every year, like there was probably a peak that hit. And then it has tapered off since then. And so like I looked at our numbers, our website numbers, because I look at them on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis and stuff like that. And like literally only 12 people came to our website last week from social media. And that was both Facebook and Instagram. I think Facebook had 2 and there were 10 from Instagram.
Yeah.
Now, there are other things that people are coming from, like we've worked on our SEO, people can search, that kind of thing. And then Pinterest had way more than that as far as, how many people came to our website from that. And actually somebody purchased something that they had clicked on from Pinterest as well.
Yeah.
I am going to say that Pinterest is not social media. And some of you may not agree with me on that, but I'm going to say it is more of think of it like a Google. But it's like an image-driven Google, because sure, can I go on Instagram and type in a tag and maybe find stuff? Yes, but like it's not the same. Like I can't type in how to grow a plant, I don't know, in Instagram and it's going to come up. If I go into Pinterest, I can do that and I can see images or that kind of thing and ideas and articles and blog posts and find a podcast. I mean, all that. So it is more of a search thing. And if you ever notice, do a little test right now. Go put in a topic that maybe either a product that you offer or a topic that you teach on or whatever the thing is your business does. Go just type in a phrase with it into Google and see what comes up. Instagram doesn't come up. Facebook does not come up. Like none of those come up. It is usually Pinterest first. The images come up first on Pinterest
and
YouTube. And then other things that may be related.
Yeah.
And so when you do something like that, that is pretty eye-opening to be like, why am I spending so much time on social media? And has social media grown our business at one point? Yes.
Oh, totally.
Is social media growing other people's businesses right now? Probably. Is it a large majority of people? Absolutely not. I was listening to something the other day that was talking about that 60% of businesses, and I don't know who they polled to get this, but I think it was like major businesses, but then small businesses too. Of 60% of businesses at the beginning of the year said we need to spend more time on social media. But only 5% of those 60% said social media was actually like making money for them.
Making an impact, yeah.
And so when you think of that, like, why are we spending all of this time on something that frankly at this point, and this is just my opinion, I know people are going to push back on it, but frankly at this point seems like it's like if you get lucky,
that
if you get something happens and you go viral. And I know there's tons of classes you can take on like how to go viral and stuff like that, like that type of thing. For the normal, for most of us, that kind of thing is not going to happen.
I feel like in some ways too, like with all, with Instagram, with Facebook, with TikTok, like with some of these things, if you are one of the early adopters, like, and you grew your following, like usually like right when it started, those are the ones that like are like controlling those sites and the traffic.
Yes, I know, because there are some people that I follow that like really grew huge on Instagram and they're having the same issues now.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I think again,
because they were, photographers.
The following's big, but
and now they don't do video.
But is it equating to things?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
we don't know if it's actually business for them or that kind of thing right now. And so I think really, really look at what is driving traffic to your business. And if you don't have some kind of analytics or something, sign up for it right now so you can see that. Because if you can't understand that, you may have an assumption that social media is driving the traffic to my products, to my business, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And like I said, when I look at our numbers, not once has that ever been the highest thing. Even, I mean, we sell on places like Etsy and stuff, and they have analytics built right in that you can go and see where the traffic is from. Same thing goes for Etsy. Mm-hmm. Now, Pinterest drives stuff to Etsy, but like it's people searching for the stuff on Etsy and stuff like that. It's not, I mean, I think there was one person that came from social media. Now, we don't post our Etsy shop on social media a lot, but still. And so there are some things that are a little bit more difficult. Like I think right now, at least we don't have our podcast analytics set up that we can see where people are coming from for that and that kind of thing. But just really pay attention to that. And and think again, normally your number of followers on any of these platforms does not equate to money. Like if you have 1 million followers, it doesn't mean you have $1 million business.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
There are plenty of people that we know that have either don't do social media at all, or they do very little social media and their business is thriving, versus some people we know that have a large amount of following and we know their business numbers and they're not doing well. And so that the following number does not equate to money.
Because I think what happens is we get caught up in thinking the complete opposite, that the more followers I get, the bigger business, the more money I'm going to make, all that kind of stuff. So I think in a lot of ways we get caught up in trying to build that following. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with having a great following. Like, that's awesome. But are the people that are following you, are they intimately invested in what you're doing and in your business?
Would they actually purchase from you?
And will they make the transaction?
Are they just watching?
In a sense, like, are they like brand loyalists? Like, I think I'm sure I've heard multiple podcasts and multiple people talking about like having, 100 devoted audience fans of what you do spend $100 a year with you. Like, that right there is a business. So even if you only have 100 followers, if those 100 followers are devoted to you and like you're in community and you're creating a community with that, and they're spending, whatever amount a year on you, but like they're actually making transactions with you, like that's really, depending on how big you want your business to be, like
that can be,
that can be your business right there. So I think, again, it's like, it doesn't, followers obviously it doesn't equate to an actual like successful business.
And again, what are those other things? Like, there's these two guys that I absolutely love to follow that travel and that kind of thing. And I've literally booked places or are interested in going places because I follow them. They are on Instagram. They have a decent following. It's pretty large, but they blog about each place they go. They do these Pinterest boards. So if I Google stuff, like sometimes, I don't know, I Google someplace in Italy or things like that. One of their Pinterest boards, now that's probably, I know it's because I follow them and it's figured me out and all that stuff. But like their Pinterest stuff comes up and that kind of thing. And I click on that because then I can save that and that kind of thing. I know there's a thing on Instagram you can save stuff, but that's not where I tend to go when I'm looking at going someplace or something like that. And so like they, I go on their blogs to read in detail, like what places did they stay? What places did they eat? Those kinds of things. Like they may post a video and stories on Instagram, but I can't go back and find that. Or if I do, it's a real hassle. And so again, what are some things that you can do? And I know, gosh, I used to blog and it was such a huge thing. And I know people say blogging's out, but like you can create your blog.
I think it's a big thing. I think it's
it's still, and we are going to be doing it. Like you can make your blog into a Pinterest thing and like voila. Or that same blog, if you're comfortable with doing, or you can make a video and put it on YouTube. Again, what are the things that people search that they can find easy and quick, and that is something easy for them to find. And so I see those other people, the quote unquote influencers. And even those people, there's one that I follow and she's an American living in London and she travels and she does stuff with fashion and stuff like that. And she even posted something because Instagram posted, I don't know, some update the other day, notice of like, here are some things we're trialing out. And she was like, I'm so frustrated with this. I just want Instagram to go back to what it used to be and that kind of thing. And so people that even maybe have made business money on it are frustrated. And this is the thing, like those spaces, they're created, and yes, YouTube and Pinterest, same thing. I understand. Like they're not like, ooh, we want to help businesses grow. No, right. They want to grow themselves. Yeah. And so, the only way we've tested out advertising and it's a whole science and stuff, but at this point you have to spend a whole lot of money in advertising on Facebook or Instagram and that kind of thing to actually like make any return on it because of it and that kind of thing. So I think when we're asking the question, now I have made it now, like I know we have talked about before the fact that like on social media, my hope would be for our business social media would be that we are creating a community there. And I do feel like for a time that was really what mattered and stuff like that. But like those people aren't even seeing our stuff anymore. Like we had a direct message the other day. It was like, are you guys still doing things? Like I don't see your stuff anymore. And I'm like, we post 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they're not seeing our stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's what's the most frustrating.
That's so frustrating.
Like you're doing,
people that actually do want to see our stuff.
You're feeding the machine, but the machine isn't necessarily like doing what you think it's supposed to do for you.
No. Or I mean, you have to think about like what, you know, if you have started your own business, there's probably some part, well, there definitely, not probably, there's some reason you started it to be able to also then live your life a certain way. And that's the thing when we were having that chat on the river the other day that we were talking about of like, you know, in this many years, what do we dream of like our life work balance looking like and things like that. And you know, there's somebody who I'm taking some courses from right now, and this would, you know, she works 10 hours a week, like, and then she's able to do all these other things and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, what would that look like to have some kind of, and now that's maybe extreme, but like what does it look like to have a thriving business, but also to have a thriving life and it not be all about your business? And like, as these platforms change, you always have, and that's part of business. I know you have to keep up on things, but when you're trying to keep up on things of whatever the product and services that you offer, plus this social media platform and this one and this one and this one, and they've changed this. And now I probably should be posting, you know, like 3 reels a day, plus stories, plus this, plus that. Like, that's not how I want to do some focused work. Like you would like to just sketch all day and draw. And I would love to do some writing during the day and stuff like that. It doesn't mean I want to stop and be like, oh, I should do a reel now, or I should do this or that kind of thing. Or maybe photography is your thing and you don't like doing video. And so now you feel like you have to, but you don't enjoy it. And so you're forcing yourself to do something you don't enjoy. And we've tested, I'm not saying we haven't tested some things out to have fun with things and try things, but even as we do some of the things, I feel like they feel forced.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
It's not necessarily natural for us or whatever. Like, I don't know, I was trying to think of like something like, cause you know, mine and I both come from the advertising world and all that kind of stuff before all the social media
and public
stuff
relations.
happened.
Yeah, I didn't even, I studied public relations and there wasn't a thing about social media.
I feel like in some ways, social media, because of just how hard it is to keep up with it sometimes, and just how sometimes it can be really confusing, that like, you know, you get to a certain point with some sort of thing that you used to use all the time that now you just have it. Like I always think about like coming out of university, like when you were creating a portfolio or whatever, that, you know, in design and stuff, like companies would always have like a brochure. Like you'd always have a brochure that you would hand out to somebody or whatever. I feel like in a lot of ways, like social media is the brochure now. Like you just have to have it, but is it really crucial to, you know, creating that next step for your business, if that makes any sense? Like it's the thing that you have to have, but you don't necessarily, it's not something that is like potentially could be the go-to anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
But you used a phrase there that this is what we're questioning. Do we have to have it?
Well, yeah.
Like you said, it's something you have to have. And there was probably a time where I believed that. And now
you don't need a brochure.
I don't know that we have, like, how, you know, and we don't have answers right now. So we're doing a lot of learning, and we're doing some thinking through things right now. So we promise to come back to you later with some thoughts on like, what is our decision? And maybe our decision, I could see this, like right now, really, I spend 1 day a month on social media of planning our content for social media. And then every week I probably, you know, I have to go in and post. I frankly don't even interact anymore, which I know is horrible to say because I think we've explained to you guys before, you should interact and stuff like that. And like, I don't even do that anymore. I don't scroll on our Instagram, on our business Instagram. Personal's different. On our business Instagram, because I quickly get caught into like, oh, they're doing that. And do you want to explain our conversation last night that we had about you and how you were feeling about your illustration work? And it was because you were comparing yourself, right?
Like last night I'm kind of trying to get a new, like a website up just so I have like a portfolio of some illustration work that I've been doing lately.
Because you want to do more children's
books. Because I want to
do
more kids books and more illustration work. And so I was like, I ended up scrolling through my illustration feed that I have. Like I have a separate Instagram handle for my illustration stuff. And so I was, scrolling through some of the people that I follow, and I just kind of got like, oh, I'm not doing what everyone else is doing. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? My stuff doesn't look quite like theirs. So am I good enough to do this? And like all this kind of stuff. And like, yeah, I just went down this really bad rabbit hole of just self-doubt and really beating myself up last night. And then I as I'm talking to you about it last night, I'm realizing I'm doing the thing, like I'm getting caught up in that when I just don't need to be on it. Like the amount of comparison and frustration and, self-doubt that scrolling puts into you, or at least for me on certain days, like can really like derail you in a big way. And so I think, again, like, thinking about quitting social media business wise, like to me, that feels like such a huge like relief in some ways.
It's even the fact that if it's the number one, it's the comparison thing for sure. Like, is it giving you life? I guess that's the thing. Is being on social media for your business giving you life? I mean, ask that question personally too.
Yeah.
But like, is it? And I feel so like old school, and I feel old and stuff like that of saying these things because I realize we've probably gone for a full circle of saying like it is important and you should have it and you need to have it and stuff like that. But I think, again, when we look at like, okay, we're spending this, even that I'm spending a day on it a month, even that, and then also maybe an hour or so each week. Is that worth my time? Like, is it worth my time to do that when I could be redirecting it to like Pinterest or, we are planning to start a YouTube channel and stuff like that on like different things of teaching mainly business stuff there and that kind of thing. Like, does it feel like that would be still use our creative outlets in those places, but like actually have a return on our investment and our time?
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. And I know there are plenty of experts out there that will tell you the opposite and that kind of thing. And I also, have listened to some of those people and stuff, and the amount of time they spend on social media, we don't have that. That's not what I want my life to look like and that kind of thing. Yeah. And that's not the place that I want to be. I want to be living my life and that, and enjoying that because we've built a business that, has that. And so it's what we're exploring. Like, do we absolutely need it? Maybe we just post once a week. I don't know. Like, I that's what we're trying to decide. Like, we currently right now, most of the time post like 5 times a week. I'm really struggling when it comes to that of like, I don't know what else I have to say right now because I would rather be writing a blog post that is more in depth that could like help you guys with your business or maybe do a longer video for YouTube. That's like really like what we're doing right now. A podcast that's really diving into something a bit more deeper than the whatever how many seconds a reel can and that kind of thing. Like, can you really learn and implement something like that in your business? Maybe, but like I need personally someone to go into more about it. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know what our end result is. Yeah. Maybe we're off of it completely. Maybe it's there as like a keeper space, and maybe it is, maybe it's a place, like I said, that we do the bare minimum. I kind of feel like I'm doing that right now, but 5 times a week still feels like a lot. And so we're processing this.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. It's like a real-time conversation that we're having because, again, I think the biggest thing is what you said earlier is the fact that we don't feel like it's giving us life.
Yeah.
And
not only that,
so whenever
it's also not bringing any money into our business.
Yeah. and then thinking about having to spend time on that instead of something else that we actually would feel like might give us life.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a huge sacrifice. So I think we're just like, we're just processing it, thinking about it, I guess we would love to know what you guys are.
I would absolutely love to know.
Like what you guys are thinking about business wise. Like, do you guys want to just get rid of social media? Like, or are you wanting to ramp it up? I don't know. Like, is it working for you?
Yeah.
Things like that. I think, and, you might say, well, it's not working for you guys. So that's probably why you're feeling that way. Well, I mean, again, we've been doing Instagram since it started. So,
well, also, I think
it's just
having a teenager has really made me think through what it too. Zane is not on social media right now, and we have a rule that we're not going to let him on till a certain time, if he even wants to, because
he doesn't want it.
Yeah, he doesn't want it right now, but like thinking through that and doing so much. I mean, I've done so much research as what is healthy and stuff like that for kids and that kind of thing. But even then seeing some of our friends' kids and I mean, all that stuff of like, do I want to be do we want to be part of that and that kind of thing? And just, I mean, they have, and we all know this is not new news, but they have created these things so that we're on it as long as we possibly can be on it. Mm-hmm. And like, do I want our business to be part of that? I don't know. Now, sure, could you say that Pinterest and YouTube and that kind of stuff is the same thing? Of course, because it has like watch now as soon as you finish one video and things like that. But, they're all I get that. They're the same in many ways. But, again, is social media something that we
I'm sure there's a healthy rhythm in there somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's maybe what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Like what's healthy for us, because we're not seeing the return that we
even though I've gone down to what I feel like is bare minimum. I'm still like, is this still even worth my time?
Yeah.
To have whatever it was, 10 people come to our website who didn't purchase anything in a week? Like, I don't really think that's moving the needle.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, like thinking that way and looking at the data and looking at how things have progressed and going, okay, like if we go down to, we might even try some things. Do we go down to 2 a week and see what happens? If we're still getting the same amount, okay, then we don't need to be posting as much and, things like that. So I think, again, it's like we're in process. We're thinking a lot about it. Again, we're going to be researching and listening and just trying to take in and soak in as much as we can about this thought, because, again, I think we want to make sure that, as our business progresses, we want to be doing things that, of course, there's going to be things in your business that you don't want to do, like that. How many times have we talked about that? But, at the same time, you have to be doing the thing that gives you life, right?
Yes. Or you're going to burn out so quick.
Or that's bringing in revenue.
Yeah.
Because if you continue to focus your time on things that aren't bringing in money, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
So
you just don't.
So I think that, I don't know. That's what we're thinking about. So are we going to quit social media for business? Guess you'll just have to watch and see.
You'll have to wait and see, but we do want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Are you thinking the same? I mean, we've heard from a lot of you, actually, I will say, that you are thinking along the same lines, that you're kind of questioning whether you should be doing this or not. So we want to hear from you. What are you thinking? What are you learning? Point us to some things that you're learning, because we are very much in this learning phase of this and thinking through this and that kind of thing. And I guess watch this space to find out what we learn, and we will for sure share it with you too as we.
We'll definitely have.
We're not going to keep it a secret.
Sure,
so. Thanks so much for tuning in. We hope it's encouragement. If you're having this question, I'm sorry that we don't have an answer for you, but maybe some of the questions we just asked ourselves, you can ask yourself too as you're processing this. And we will talk to you next time.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Laurent Collective podcast. If you enjoyed today's podcast, be sure to subscribe and leave a review, which helps others find our podcast. Continue the conversation with us over on Instagram at Laurent Collective.
We look forward to going deeper than just surface talk with you again next week.